California is losing residents at record speed, and Salt Lake City appears to be the #1 landing spot. People are fed up with wildfire evacuations, traffic jams, and sky-high taxes, and are instead lining up for lower mortgages, a booming tech sector, and a mountain city lifestyle featuring 20-minute commutes, world-class ski resorts, and the buzz of the 2034 Winter Olympics, which is already reshaping Utah's capital. So drop in the comments below which single Salt Lake City advantage would change your life first. Give me your honest answer. I read all the comments. First, let's discuss the employment advantages. According to the Utah Department of Workforce Services and the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, Utah added 36,000 jobs in the last 12 months. That's a 2.1% jump that nearly doubles from the national growth rate. Here are some of the big corporate moves to watch. Texas Instruments semiconductor expansion in Lehi is part of a $60 billion US build-out, which locks in thousands of six-figure engineering roles. Goldman Sachs Project Voyage headquarters shift brings in senior Wall Street talent to downtown Salt Lake, confirming Utah as a core hub. And then you have the Silicon Slopes Tech Quarter, which hosts more than 1,000 companies, Adobe, Qualtrics, Divi, Podium, and earned CNBC's City of Success label for 2025. Now, Utah's life science surge is equally strong. BioUtah reports a $1.2 billion in biotech venture capital last year, and Intermountain Healthcare opened a $335 million cardiovascular institute that created 3,000 specialized medical jobs. The bottom line here, Californians are not stepping into a sleepy economy. They're joining one of the fastest growing job markets in the United States. Yes, Californians might be taking a small pay cut moving to Utah, but the lower cost of living in Utah more than makes up for it. Let's talk about income and property taxes. So let's compare income tax. California has a top marginal tax of 13.3%, while Utah has a flat rate 4.85%. Take for instance a dual income household making $200,000. They would be keeping $17,000 more per year after switching to Utah. That $17,000 covers things like student loans, college funds, or multiple weekend trips to Alta. And specifically with real estate, here's the property tax reality. Utah has an effective property tax rate of about 0.55%, which is actually the 8th lowest in the country, while California's average is right around 0.7%. Now let's talk about the housing sticker shock. Utah and California tell two very different stories when it comes to housing costs. In the summer of 2025, Utah's median sales price is about $548,000, while Californians is roughly $909,000. Put 10% down and assume a 6.5% interest rate, and a typical buyer in Salt Lake County sees a monthly mortgage of about $3,240, including taxes and insurance. A comparable buyer in Los Angeles County is closer to $5,400 a month. That's $26,000 annual gap, could cover a full basement remodel or even several family vacations. Now, renters feel it too. Cost of living data shows Salt Lake City sits around 26% below Los Angeles and a whopping 31% under San Jose. Let's talk about another big expense, which is insurance. And it's not just the purchase price of homes that's so vastly different. Utah's average homeowner's premium is about $1,290 a year for a $300,000 policy, 45% below the national average. Meanwhile, State Farm and other carriers have canceled tens of thousands of California fire policies, forcing owners into the high-cost FAIR plan or going uninsured. In Salt Lake City real estate, you can still secure comprehensive coverage from multiple carriers, giving buyers peace of mind. And if you're currently living in California, let me know in the comments if you've had issues with your homeowner's insurance in the last year. Speaking of insurance, let's talk about natural disaster trade-offs. CAL FIRE has already responded to 2,353 separate fires and watched 76,000 acres burn before the year even reached July, more than triple the acreage scorched over the same stretch of 2024. That pace forced 4 separate rounds of rolling power shutoffs in Northern California, temporary closures of Interstate 5, and evacuation orders that displaced more than 42,000 residents. Insurers have paid an estimated $1.8 billion in claims and have pulled back from writing new policies in 63 high-risk zip codes, leaving many homeowners to shoulder the costly FAIR plan or go without any coverage at all. Now, Salt Lake City's biggest environmental headache is the winter inversion haze, which is a gray blanket that traps cold air in the valley for a few days at a time. Yes, it can spike the air quality index, but seldom damages roofs or foundations. Tornadoes make headlines maybe once every decade, and the state's notable wildfires ignite mainly in the Uinta National Forest, dozens of miles from dense neighborhoods like Sugar House, Holiday, or Mill Creek. The Wasatch Front has logged fewer than 2,500 total acres burned in the past 5 years, a fraction of what California lost in a single June weekend last year. Put simply, your property in the Salt Lake Valley sits behind natural fire breaks, benefits from wide defensible space ordinances, and is rarely threatened by mass evacuations or six-figure smoke remediation bills. Let's cover commutes and infrastructure, arguably one of the least talked about, but one of the most important lifestyle features. TomTom's 2024 traffic index recorded a 10.5-minute, 6-mile downtown average drive, one of the fastest urban cores in the nation. The average one-way commute in Salt Lake City is just 19 minutes versus 31 minutes in Los Angeles, and that's if you're lucky not getting stuck in rush hour. My father-in-law used to commute 3 hours each direction just to get to his job in California. The other good news is the Utah Transit keeps improving. The front-runner double-tracking two-Payson is coming by 2028, which will cut wait times in half, and a $966 million point of the mountain bus rapid transit corridor will connect Silicon Slopes to track light rail. Time saved on the road converts into skiing laps, more family dinners, or a side hustle. Factors that boost your overall quality of life. All right, now picture your typical weekend trek to the Sierra Mountains. 5 hours on I-80, a $40 parking pass, and a lift line that rivals Space Mountain. Trade that grind for Salt Lake City, where 12 ski resorts sit within 90 minutes of downtown, and 4 of those are within a 35-minute canyon drive. Ski Utah clocked $2.64 billion in visitor spending during the 23-24 season, and that was before the International Olympic Committee awarded the city the 2034 Winter Games, a decision already pumping billions into tracks, light rail systems, hotels, and venue upgrades. So you can keep the snow and the vertical you love, but cut the commute and the price tag. And summer flips the similar script. From downtown Salt Lake, you can pedal onto 200 miles of single track in 15 minutes instead of circling the Bay Area trailheads for a parking spot. A long weekend unlocks National Park Loop that hits Zion, Bryce, Capitol Reef, Arches, and Canyonlands, 5 marquee parks, 0 lottery permits, and crowd levels Californians haven't really seen in decades. That daily adventure fix is why remote workers and healthy lifestyle seekers are leaving the coast. They get instant alpine access, cleaner air, and a growing transit network without sacrificing tech paychecks or coffee culture. Your gear closet stays the same, but the backdrop and the monthly mortgage behind it changes for the better. One of the most important considerations when you're relocating is the healthcare system. If you're coming out of the Bay Area biotech scene, you'll feel right at home in Utah's medical corridor, minus the sticker shock. The University of Utah's hospital is ranked in the top 10 nationally. The Intermountain Healthcare System is opening a new cardiovascular center that anchors one of the country's largest nonprofit systems, and Research Park startups pulled in $1.2 billion in venture funding during 2024. Draper's Prism campus is already pouring concrete and will add 4,000 lab and support jobs by 2027, giving Bay Area pharma talent a straight runway without Bay Area housing prices. All right, next on the list, probably the most controversial, has to do with politics and governance. Utah's 2025 legislative session cut the corporate tax rate to 4.55% and passed bipartisan mental health parity laws. Salt Lake City has been known to have more favorable regulations, and they tend to get to decisions quicker. Californians often cite regulation fatigue. In Utah, you get faster permit approvals, fewer agency layers, and a clear yes or no decisions. Salt Lake City itself leans progressive on social policy, so newcomers find cultural diversity without the bureaucratic headaches common in California. Another really important factor is the education system. The state allocated $190 million to kindergarten through 3rd grade class size reduction, targeting a 16-to-1 ratio for fall of 2025. Families choose from A-rated public districts like Canyons and the Davis School District. There are over 90 charter schools, including STEM magnets such as the American Preparatory Academy, plus 35 private campuses. Open enrollment means you don't need a $1 million zip code for a top school. High school sports rival some colleges. Take for instance Corner Canyon Stadium, which seats 18,000 people, and performing arts magnets rank nationally. Now the cost of living goes beyond housing. Everyday costs stretch a paycheck further. Grocery bills run about 12% below San Jose averages, and childcare averages about $1,050 a month versus $2,100 a month in places like Orange County. And Rocky Mountain Power charges roughly 10.5 cents per kilowatt hour, while Southern California's Edison hovers nearly 29 cents. Now let's talk about the quality of life intangibles. The Sundance Institute renewed its Main Street lease. Eccles Theater hosts national Broadway tours. Real Salt Lake Soccer packs MLS stands, and more than 60 miles of protected bike lanes have been installed since 2020. Downtown restaurants now serve a diverse range of cultural foods. So add the numbers up. You have a higher take-home pay, a lower house cost, insurance you can actually obtain, a 19-minute commute, and the 2034 Winter Olympics. That explains the steady stream of Californians relocating to Utah. And if you're serious about relocating, make sure to subscribe to the channel and get firsthand exposure to different suburbs in the area. And if you're ready for the next step, give me a call, text, or email me. My team has already guided dozens of families from out of state. We'll see you in the next video.